Zero. How's everyone doing? I hope you're having an awesome Friday. It is the weekend, almost, and that means lots of open source coding. Maybe I should, think of some live streams this weekend. Right. How is everyone doing? It's great to see people in the chat. Do say hello if you're here. It's awesome to have you all here. We have Gaushik, Dheeraj. Awesome. You're learning Django REST framework. Do check out. And let me share you a link for another YouTuber. She focuses on Django and Vue, and her content's really awesome. I can't think of her name off the top of my head. I don't know why my memory's gone blank. Ping me in Discord, and I will, after the live stream, I'll get her YouTube channel for you. Anyone who's new here, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, and join us in the Discord to chat between live streams and videos. Right, what are we? Hey, we've got some new people in the chat. Awesome to have you here. Do say hi. Omar Minal. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Apologies if I didn't. Today, let me share my screen. Where's my screen? My screen is here. Right, today, what are we doing today? Well, it's a giveaway in the title. But today we are going to be working on part 2 and hopefully the final part to get something working. Right, that MVP of a GitHub action. So who knows what a GitHub action is? Who doesn't know what a GitHub action is? And I will go over it. I'll show you what I did in part 1. So if you didn't see that live stream from a few days ago, I will quickly show you what we did and our struggles and challenges, but we did get there. We actually had 2 engineers from GitHub join the chat. Really, really awesome. So shout out to, trying to think of their names, Brian and Jason, who gave me some pointers and some tips. Really awesome, and it really helped that along. So we actually got something working just after the live stream. I got it working just afterwards. I wouldn't let it go. Right, let's have a look. Let me show you what I've got. So I've got this. We've got the awesome GitHub repo, and let me go to the master branch, the main branch. I'll need to rename that. What we have here, people add their profiles. As an example, does your GitHub profile look like any of these? So this is what you can do. You can customize your GitHub profile, and you do that by creating a repo with the same name as your username. And it's freaking epic. I don't know why people don't do this, even just for a little bit of information, and you can iterate it over time. But there's some awesome, really awesome examples. So there's quite a few here. Right, but what I wanted to do, so what people do, sorry, let me start again. In this repo, we list some awesome GitHub profiles, as it says in the title. And if you haven't starred it already, give it a star. Let me share a link with you. Here we go. Okay, hey, some more new faces. Raju, awesome to have you here. Hopefully I pronounced your name right. Apologies if I haven't. And so if people want to add their profile to this, then they need to send in a pull request, typical open source contribution, but they've got to update this HTML table. And if I just go and view this file, I'll hit edit, but I won't actually save anything. It looks like this. And some people add an extra column, they add a row where actually there's a space on the previous row and all sorts. So I thought, let's cancel that. Let's make it even simpler. So this is the main branch. Let me go to our branch that we're working in, which I've just called issue 48B. And what we've got is we've got a JSON file. So if I open that in a new tab, here we go. And I've just got 2 examples in there. But we're gonna then, once we've got this working, we'll add more people to this and add their username, their image, their screenshot of their GitHub profile, and the issue number it refers to. All looking good so far. Everyone still with me so far? Dheeraj, hey, I was the 51st star. Awesome. Dheeraj, you hadn't started it already. You've been away too long. We've missed you here. And yes, we've got this data.json, and every time it gets updated, what I want the GitHub action to do, which I'll show you in a second, is going to run. And at the moment, it updates just with the JSON data, which obviously isn't very pretty. We are gonna fix that in this live stream together. And the GitHub action looks like this. So there are, let me show you in VS Code. We all like VS Code. So in the GitHub action, what it is you have a rule. So in this, I might rename some of these titles and descriptions because they're not very descriptive, and we've moved on since then. But in terms of functionality, these are the inputs. So we have a required input, which is the JSON file, and it defaults to data.json. And then we also have a required, there's no default, the GitHub token. and that's it. And then we also have, that's it in terms of the YAML config. And then we have a JavaScript file that gets run. So in action, you'll see main index.js. And in here, we grab what we need. So as the inputs, we had GitHub token and we had JSON file path. So we grab those, we read the data, and then we grab a few environment variables, the git ref, which includes the branch, which is what I want. And then we're using JSON's awesome README box library to update the README with the section that we want. And that's it in terms of the actual action plugin. So if we go to the repo, which, or what did I just type? Okay, if we, I'm messing something up. What am I doing? There we go. Okay, right. If I switch to the actual awesome GitHub profiles project, in here we have .github workflows, and then we have main. And then in main, what we do is hello world job. Again, I need to rename that. But the important part is it's going to be Ubuntu latest, and we have steps. So the first step, we check out the code, so we can have the code and the README to update. And then the second step is this actual plugin that we're writing in the other VS Code that I had opened that I showed you a second ago. Dheeraj has good news and bad news. Okay, Dheeraj, I want good news and good news. Hopefully we can turn the bad news into good news somehow. We'll work on it. And then we use with, which is the two required fields that we spoke about, which is data.json. We could omit that because it defaults to data.json. And then we pass in the GitHub token so we can write to the README. Right, everyone with me so far? Write open source in the chat if you're with me. Write not with you if you're not with me, and I can repeat any parts. And then when we make a change, let's actually make a change and let's see this work. Let's actually see this work together, right? Bear with me. Give me like 30 seconds and let me show you how awesome this is. Because in here, if you look at this JSON, you should see we have two people. GitHub username there and GitHub username there. There's no others. So let's make a change and add a third person. You're going to see this run and update just that section in the README with new JSON. And then what we're going to do in this live stream is customize that JSON. It's where I need your help, where we're going to customize it a lot more and how we write to it. So we'll figure this out together. Mohammed, closed source. Mohammed, you're fired. Only open source. Yes, I got a few people understanding. That's good. Okay, open source, open source, open source. I love that. Okay, so let's add a third person. Let's just pick the third person from the profile, and we will pick the next person down here. Right. Let me just hit edit so I can grab stuff a lot easier. The third one, here we go. I'll show you their username. So I'll grab their username. Let's put a third person in. Any question, just jump in the chat and ask whenever you need. And then we're going to grab the image and we're going to generate this HTML. So no one has to worry about generating the HTML and getting it right. They just have to worry about adding one entry into here. And we can even do it as different files. Maybe there's a folder and you have to add your own file. Well, we can always customize it and change it later. Let's have a look. Nathan, awesome to have you here. Varun as well. Awesome. And the issue number for that is issue number 14. Okay, so now I want to prove to you this works. So I have added a third person, and anyone new who's joined, you will see if I refresh this page and this branch, and I go down, you will see that we have only two usernames, 1, 2. And there's a third one that's going to appear, and then we're going to customize this later to be even better. So let me do a diff. In the diff, we can see all that's happened is I've added another person, or the people who like VS Code can go to this tab, can click it, and we can see that we've added one more person. Right, let's commit that. So git commit, and we'll say feature data added another user. Okay, commit. Let's push that up. Here we go. And then once, oh, it failed. What happened? There were some changes. Updates were rejected because remote contains work I do not have. Did I make any changes on another computer or in the browser? Okay, not a problem. We'll just, pull it down. It's okay. All good. All good. Right. Okay, it's going to merge it in. I wonder what changes came down. That's a lot of changes. I don't think that's right. Wait a second. What was that? Node modules? Ah, did I just add node modules really stupidly? Okay, that should not be the case. Let's undo that. Git what's changed, and we can have a look. And so you can see what changed. So in our last commit, we had data.json, correct? And then we had this also changed. I don't see any node modules. Where did that come from? That doesn't look right. Git status. We don't have an ignore. So that's weird. What node modules do we have? I don't think we need anything. It's just a plain repo. So I think that's wrong. I think we made a mistake. So if I remove node modules, because in package.json, what do we have? Ah, yes, we were testing some things out with this, but this is no longer needed because we've actually moved it to another project. This was the other VS Code. So actually don't need this anymore. So I don't need the package JSON anymore, and I don't need the node modules. Right. Wonder why that came in as Let's just check that out on the GitHub. We might be able to see something. So if I go to GitHub and it says the branch is 15 commits ahead and 1 commit behind, that's fine. So if we go to commit, maybe I think I know, maybe the GitHub action added it. One file changed. Okay, no, it didn't do that. That's all right, we're good. So you can see that the last commit was by a GitHub action and it added in 2 items for the JSON. And when we push this up, we'll get a 3rd item. I honestly don't know. We'll fix that, no problem. So all we need to do is remove package.json, remove package lock, remove node modules. And then if we do a status, yeah, I don't know where they came from. I don't remember who or when committed those. That's kind of a weird one, but it must have been me. I want to blame someone else, but must have been me. Let's have a look. Diraj, my bad news. College has started from today. Good news, because of this, I now have a proper schedule. Coding life, academics balance. My bad news into good news. I like that. Turning a negative into a positive. Right. So, yes, more coding and more balance. That would be good. You can also see my Twitter, Diraj, the early morning engineer. I sleep. Glad to see you're getting some rest. Okay, let me just commit that now. So if I do a git commit, because those aren't needed. Why did they go in? Eddie, what were you doing? So if I just say a feature, that's not a feature, it's really more of like a chore. npm. If you notice, I'm using conventional changelog as my commit, so we can generate a changelog if we wanted from the commit history, which is really awesome. Removed npm modules. Okay, right. Let's push that up now. Let's have a look. Okay, what's my remote? Maybe I've got multiple remotes. Just one remote. There is no node module in my branch. Let's have a look. Interesting. So the GitHub action has done a commit, and now why won't it let me push it? So only commit I want to bring down is this GitHub action commit, which makes sense. Commits. And it's just one, right? These are all me trying to, you can see the X's, me trying to get it to work. And I've got this GitHub action commit, and if you click on that, it's just done updated the README, which is correct, which we expected. So why is it complaining now? To push some refs to that, updates were rejected because remote contains work. I've just pulled that down and merged it in. And I wonder where those node modules came from. Let's figure this out together. This just shows you how realistic it is in development. You're doing something and, a spanner gets thrown in the works and you just got to debug it and figure it out. So another way we can do it, actually, you probably can use lenses on this. I don't really use this so much, but let's have a look. So file history, let's remove the file. Line history we don't need, let's hide that for the moment. Compare and search commits. Let's make those smaller. Let's have a look at branches. So we've got my branch and we've got chore that I just committed now where I deleted all those. So I merged in the branch. This is where all the node modules came from, which is interesting. But I want to know what put the node modules in the first place. Interesting. I don't see it. Maybe it came from right at the beginning and I completely forgot. Yeah, okay. But why is I could do a force push, but then I will remove the change that is up there. And if you notice what I've got, if I do a git log, if you notice, I haven't got the GitHub action change. And I do want that. I do want that change here. So I do a git pull origin eddy 48. I know why. Have you noticed something? I didn't put a B at the end of 48. So I've got an old branch. That's what I have done wrong. So what we can do actually, if we go git what changed, you can see I deleted all those node modules. And then it's the merge that came in. Oh, that's a long page. There we go. Let's go up a little bit. And when I merged in, I must have done the wrong merge. And we can check that in a second. Where do we see the merge? Let's have a look. And we can check. I did the push. Oh, wait a second. It's further up here. We'll figure it out. Who's worried? I'm not worried. Are you worried? Right, worried or not worried in the chat. Let me know if you're worried. We'll figure this out. But I think I messed up when I did the pull, because a pull does a fetch and a merge in Git. And so it obviously merged it. Oh, the history runs out. No! Well, I can do another check. I can look at my history commands. So what we did up here is... Yes, look, I did a git pull 48, but so I originally tried to push to 48b, and then I did a pull, which is a fetch and a merge from 48, and that 48 I don't want anymore because we've moved it to a separate repo. So that's what went wrong, and then that is not good. So I've got this stuff in the history, which looks a bit nasty. Diraj, not worried. Awesome. Git pull rebase helps. Yes, if I'd done rebase, it would have stepped through it. Gorshik, hopefully I pronounced that right. That's a good suggestion, because if you do a rebase, then you'll step through all the commits, and as it reapplies them, reapplies mine on top of what's coming in, and that way not only do resolve conflicts, you do little and often as you go along, but also if anything jumps out, you can abort. Whereas now it's kind of a bit late. So I've brought in stuff that I didn't want. So what we can rewrite history. No one else is working in this branch. It is just me. Here we go. Look, you can see I've merged in the branch 48. So that we can undo. We should be able to undo that. So I could step back 2 and undo 2. So if I undo this one and do this one, there's 2 things that can be done. You can do a revert, where it does the complete opposite. So git revert and then the hash. It will do a complete opposite, but it keeps it still in the history, which is usually really good. But in this case, I don't want it in the history, so we can do a reset. Let's try git reset, or we could also force pull down what is in on GitHub. We could delete my branch, and because the only difference between GitHub and mine is we've got step ID removed, and then GitHub Actions does its commit. So what we could do, let's just check. I removed that we want that to go. With this merge, we want to go. Added another user I want to keep, and then step ID. So really, as long as I keep the changes from that, which I can create a patch, or I could just do it manually because it's just this small thing, I could copy that, right? And then just bring back the branch down, which is probably the easiest way, because I want to show you, I want to get working on the GitHub action in JavaScript with you rather than mess around with Git. So what I'm going to do is I want to go back to the main branch, and I'm actually going to ditch that branch B with it on. Okay, and then I want to pull everything down again. And then I'm going to go back to that branch B. Right, and if we go to log, you'll see I have the GitHub action updating the README and then the step ID. So all I need to do in here is just put in that code. And we're back to where we started. Right, okay. Everyone's still with me. Not worried, like that. Git reset hard, SHA for the win. Hard! Stephen, actually in this case, yeah, hard would have been good and soft. I didn't want to keep those changes. And Stephen's not worried. Stephen, I got a bone to pick with you. You stood me up today. We had a call today at 12 and you didn't turn up for the call. I waited for like 20 minutes and you weren't there. I even messaged you. Stephen made me cry. Yeah. You just come here to taunt me, have you? Right, so now let me commit this. Let's do a diff, double check, extra user. And if I refresh up here as well, I want to prove to you that if I refresh this, we still only have the two users, 1, 2, and the third one's going to appear after I commit this and push it. Right, so if I go through my history, I can still use the same commit message, not that one. Go back through my history, add another user, commit, and let's push that. It's going to work this time because we've got B at the end, not using silly branch names. Right, that's pushed. It's almost pushed. It's done. So if we go to the actions in the repo, everyone can see that. My big head's not in the way. You can see it's running. Added another user. So when that finishes, we'll see the README get updated, and we'll see another commit from GitHub. Yeah, Stephen, what happened? I don't know. I left that hour free for you and me to geek out. Oh, it's got a green tick. Okay, so now if we go back to which tab was it? This one. And if I refresh, right, you ready? Everyone ready? If I refresh, yes, look, it's bigger now. So we've got 1 user, 2 user, 3 users. Okay, so it is working. So this is what I wanted to show you what we achieved in part 1 and a little bit afterwards with the GitHub engineers helping me out. So now today, let's get started. Right. Today, we want to customize that a little bit more. So if we go back to the plugin repo, and here we go. And so here, when we say write the data, I'm just putting in the JSON, right? So we want to customize that into a table. So let's have a look. This is where I'm going to need all of your help. So what we want to do is, so we've got this data, the JSON is a string. So let's make it into a JSON object. And then what we probably want to do is, it's an array, right? The JSON. Should we check it out? Yeah. So it's an array. So we could loop over it. So what we can do, JSON dot map. I missed TypeScript. I'm just saying that already. Map, and then we've got a user. And then in the user, we'd want to map that to a row in the table. It could be a row. It could be an extra column. We don't know, right? Because the way we have it, if I go back to the way it is now, yes, we've got two columns. And I think having 1 would be too much. We could maybe do 3 columns, make it all a bit smaller potentially, and therefore we can squeeze more people in. But once you've got it working, we can customize it more. So let's have a look. How's everyone's table creating? By the way, if you haven't given the video a thumbs up yet or subscribe, don't forget to, and invite your friends if you think they'd enjoy geeking out with us. And there's a Discord link below in the description where you can join the conversation between live stream and videos. And I have a live video coming out early next week. It's taking me a long time to edit. How to make money via open source. I'm really excited to share that with you. I'm editing it at the moment, and I'm using Adobe Premiere, so that's why I'm being really slow, because I usually use Final Cut Pro. So it's the first time I use Premiere, so bear with me on that. Right, so we have the user, and we would want to then, let's see, we would want to, this is not data, this will be content. We haven't used content anywhere, have we? So if we say content, and then if we say let content equal this, and then what we're going to do, we're going to just create a row for the moment, and let's see. Actually, we could create a single column, and then we'll improve it to make 2 columns. Let's get it working, right? Right. Okay. So we've got content. So what we probably want to do is, so in the user, what do we have? We have GitHub username, image URL, and issue number. Okay. And the HTML that we want to create is here. So if we go to raw or edit, we can go have a look at the HTML that we want to create. So we want to create one of these, right? Like we can bring that in, and let's have, so we can see it a lot easier. Let's bring it in here, and then we can comment it out. There we go. And it just allows us to see it a lot easier. And then we'll make it simple. To get it working, we will do it as one, that will be a TR, so that'll be 1 row, if you remember your HTML. So that'll be 1 row, and we will do 2 columns shortly. Okay, we're gonna have multiple rows, so it'll be 1 column because there's only 1 TD in there. Okay, let's have a look. Right. So there will be a table front and back of this. So what we can do is something like this. We could go table. We can take it from here, right? Table width. So we just grab that, and we can go table width, and then it's going to be the content. Oh, wrong way bracket. And then it's going to be the closing table. Okay. And do you know what's great about GitHub Actions and customizing in JavaScript? We can do so much. Any real-time statistics you think you want to do, or any actions you want to perform if an issue is created or something like that, share those ideas. We can create those in a live stream, and we can then create an action and update files in the repo, send out notifications. We can do so many awesome things. So share any ideas that you have that you think would be really good. And Stephen, not too many crazy ideas, because everyone who's watching doesn't know Stephen. There is thinking outside the box, and then there is Stephen, because his ideas are crazy. Right, so that's the table, top and bottom. So we want to make, next we want to make a row. So we need to return it, and then we will want to do it so that we have a TR. Let's do this on multiple lines so it's easier to read. And then we need to close the TR. And then we'll want a TD, right? We'll go single column to begin with, TD. And then in that TD, we need, how do we have it? Let's have a look. Oh no, we've got it right above here. What am I talking about? So we could actually, if I just copy and paste that, we could actually use that here, right? There we go. TD. I'm sure we can tidy this up later on. Let's get it working, and then we will tidy it up. I don't know, I've got so many P's. That doesn't look right. Ah, this is the closing P up here. Okay, that looks okay. My bad, just my formatting. Okay, so what we wanted to do in here, so we want GitHub, and we're going to change this to be, what was the field called? Does anyone remember? I don't remember. GitHub username. Right, let me copy and paste that so I don't make a typo. That's going to be the GitHub. Oh, we don't have the person's name. We could get it from the API, but let's keep it simple for now. So what we actually want to do is we will need name of people. Okay, oh, not capital N. Name. And then let's go to here, and we can grab their name. So when we do a push on that, we'll see that hopefully get updated as well. Second person's name. Right. Name. And then name. Okay, all good. Right. So come back to here, and if you're not following along, any questions, let me know. Nathan, I don't quite get that message. To all new people here, tell us about open source. Open source, so you can get the job, upskill, the money, the clients that you deserve. Open source has helped me so much. That's why I want to give back so much to open source. So this will be, no one noticed this, user.github username. And then if I copy that as well, just for time, and in here I put, this will be name, so user.name. And then what else do we need? We need in the source of the image, what do we call it? It will be image URL. So image URL. And then in the issue number, we just need to actually put it in here because we can keep the whole URL. We can go, what was it? Issue number. Right, so I'm going to save this. Let me just do a diff and check we're happy. Did I spell diff wrong? Oh, git gif. No, git diff. That'd be quite a cool feature though. So I've got the JSON coming out, and we've updated it to have that. What else have we changed? Why is that await missing? Oh yeah, let me remove this. I don't want to commit this whole thing. This was just an example for me to see. Let's remove that. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So let's commit this. Nothing will change because this is going to the actual plugin. Okay, so feature. It will be, what should we call it? The HTML part. And we're going to say in this HTML, what we did is formatting JSON output as HTML. Let's commit that. Let's push that to master. Nothing will change because this is the actual plugin. So while that's kind of being pushed up, we can go to the other repo and we can actually commit this the names that we've added to everybody. And what we should see, because if I refresh this now, nothing's going to change. But what we should see next time is we've got 3 people, no one has name, but we won't just see the name appear. What we should see is a HTML table. Right, fingers crossed. Who is feeling positive that this is going to work? Let's just do a diff and check. Yeah, it's just the names that got added. So we can do git commit. Is that behind my head? No, you can see it. Good. So you can see me making all these typo mistakes. Git commit feature. And we will say data. And what we did, right. What we did is name added to users. Commit. Okay. Ready? Moment of truth. Let's see if we get a single column HTML table come out. Just get my password right. What? Twice wrong? Spelled my name wrong. Rejected. Oh, yes, I have to pull down because GitHub added a commit when it updated the README last time. But I must remember to pull from the right branch. Right? It's put a B at the end. I should really ditch the other branch. So we brought that in, we've got that commit, and now we can do the push again. Oops. I'm actually going to delete the other branch because that's going to otherwise catch me out again another time. That's pushed. While that's building, we'll delete this branch. So git branch -d without the B. Not found? Really? Really? Oh, it's because I haven't checked it out locally yet. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's check out GitHub. Right. Has it finished building? Where is it? Where is it? Refresh this. Let's have a look. 24 seconds ago. It's finished building. Let's go have a look. Shall I refresh this page? Who's feeling confident? Give me like in the chat, give me a scale of like 1 to 10. 10, you're super confident it's going to work. 1, you don't think it's going to work, or like me, I'm going to give it like a 6 or a 7. A 7, I think a 7. A table should appear. Okay, I give it a 7. Let me know what you give it. What do you give it? Hopefully, people are a bit more confident. But be honest. I won't be offended if you think it's -10. Then you know that's fine. You're allowed your opinion. I might not agree with you, but you're allowed it. 10. D-Raj, love the positive attitude. Who else have we got? I want to refresh this page, but I need to see what other people think. Who's been following along? Who's spotted some mistakes but kept quiet? 10. Nice. Thank you. Oh, I can't. That's in Cyrillic. I can't pronounce that, but you've got MR at the front, so we say Mr. I hope that's okay, but then that implies agenda, so apologies. MR. I'll just say MR. Fine, that's good. Mohammed... 0 times A. What's A? Well, it doesn't really matter, right? It's 0. Let me refresh it. Please be a table. Please be a table. Please be a table. And look, we have a table. Oh, we have some weird ticks up there I need to sort out. But we have a table. 2 single column with 3 entries. And it has the name at the top. It worked. It worked. I don't know what those ticks come from. Did anyone spot where those ticks come from? Let's have a look. Why do we have 2 extra ticks at the top? Maybe it's already in the README. Let me check. Let me pull down the latest changes again. Let's have a look. Now we're going to start testing out our JavaScript a bit more and having a look about. Oh, there's no ticks up here. Table tr. Oh, there's a tick there. A comma. That's weird. Where's the comma come from? Line 16, if someone spotted it. Not in this line 16 in this file. 16. Which file? I've been jumping around, sorry. I'm guessing it's going to be in here. I don't see 2 commas or backticks. D-Raj, let me know which file you're referring to. Are they commas? They are actually commas, not backticks. So why have we got 2? But then if I look at the README, I don't see them. I don't see 2 commas. Oh, there you go. There's 1 comma. Oh, it's inside the table. That's why it's appearing at the top. Okay, right. So HTML is like kind of pulling them out and hoisting them to the top. Okay, so we have 2 commas coming after each row, which is interesting. Oh, no, that's a comma as part of the function call. So it must be after the content, which must be inside here, because default is a comma. Default what's a comma? I must be missing something. That's why I've got all of you here to help me, so I'm good. Because default is a comma. Default, what am I looking at? Mohammed, let me know. The map will return this. There's no comma in there. And then it will update with this. So that should be correct. We can console log that to see if there's a comma. When you join the array. Oh, do I do a join somewhere? Let me see. Join. Not that one. I've only got 1 join. Is there another file where I do a join? Am I missing it? Or I'm doing a join somewhere? Unless this is doing it. No, this will be getting a string, so it should just output what it's given. Let me, let's do a console log. Content is an array. Oh! Yes, you're right. Thank you. Content is an array. You're right. Absolutely. Okay, Mohammed Eagle Eyes strikes again. That's awesome. You're right. That is an array, and I'm doing that. Okay, so you are absolutely right. So I need to do a join on here. Why didn't you say before? So I didn't push it up. You just wanted to, you know, come out and give me the answer. I knew you'd have the answer. So we could do a join in here or after the map, like you said. Join, and if I join on, I can do it on a line break or just join on nothing. I think they'll get a line break from that already. Let's just see. I'll commit that and see. Unless Mohammed jumps in and tells me that that's not going to work. Okay, so we got git diff. Let's just check. Yes, it was an array. Eddie, well done. I forgot. That's an array. Mohammed, thank you. If we commit this and we say it's really not a feature, it's a fix. Formatting. What did I call it? What module did I call it last time? Git log. I said it was HTML, which it is actually. HTML and create converted array to string. There we go. Let's push that up. Okay, right, so that's pushed up. It's not going to run because that is the that's the plugin. So now if we add a 4th person, then we will let's get a 4th person from here. Where can we get a 4th person from? Get a 4th person from the original one, which is Praveen next. Praveen, are you on the stream? Are you here around? Let's get a 4th person. So we can push this up and test it. We need to move all these people over eventually anyway. Praveen Science and the image. And then it's number 15. Okay. Right, so now if I push this, commit and push this. Commit. Added another user, that's fine. Commit that and push that. Then we should see the comma's gone and a 4th person appear. Let's have a look. Okay, so it'll be building over here. Let's have a look. There we go. Add another user. It's building. Commas should be gone. Mohammed, do you agree? Everyone else agree? And once it's finished, then we need to do 2 columns. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, commas there. Refresh. Ah, that didn't work very well. We've ended up with the HTML. What happened there? Oh, I don't know. Let's pull down that change. And we can check in the README and see what it thinks. All right, let's have a look. That looks fine. Oh, wait a second. Why does this go a bit skew with? Look, the coloring changes. Oh, is it because of the space? But that wouldn't break HTML. Okay, so let's have a look. Why do we just have HTML? Why is it not being rendered? Well, there's no point saving that because this will get overwritten anyway. Interesting. Does anyone else spot an issue? Why doing it? What did we do? I changed it to be a join on an empty string. Then it went to being broken. Interesting. Table is not stated. Let's just have a look and see. I'm not going to edit it, but let's have a look, see what it thinks. Table width, that looks fine. I must be missing something. Maybe it's the heat getting to me. What do you think? We can because I hit preview, it's obviously going to be code again. So actually we can test it out and see what Markdown is not happy about. Oh, no. It can't be the spacing, right? As it's really strict. Let's have a look. If I hit preview now, it says, yeah, it's the spacing. Okay, wow, I didn't realize it would be that strict. Okay, so I'm not going to save that because we're going to get the action to do it for us. So having the spacing between them does not like. And so it must be the spacing on here. I was just trying to make it more readable. Right, let's give that a go. Let's have a look. So what we've changed is that. Let's have a look. Git commit. Actually, we can use the previous commit message, not convert array to string, but just at the beginning. And we can say it was a fix, the HTML fixed. Well, it always says fixed, right? Table to display correctly. Right, if we push that, oops, push, there we go. Okay, who's still with me? Right, open source in the chat. Let me know you're still around. Any questions, do jump in and say. Okay, so I want to undo those changes because I can just do that in the command line, right? We can do, if you want to remove the changes you made to a file because GitHub Actions is going to overwrite this, we can just go git check out the name of the file and it will put it back to what it was. Okay, so let's add another user real quick so we can push it up and let it rewrite. Let's have a look. D-Raj is still here and awake. Awesome. Next person to add. We have to add them all eventually anyway. So let's have a look. Data. Next person. Let's go. Okay, are we all confident it's going to work this time? I was confident last time. It kind of, didn't go so well. But we figured it out between us. We're getting there slowly. And by the end of this stream, we will have that project updated. And so that people don't have to worry about updating HTML in the Markdown and can do it just with a JSON file like that. I think that's a lot easier. Do you think it's a lot easier just to add your own entry? So if someone wants their own entry, they can just add it. I wonder how much if we can make it even easier. Commit, we added another user. So let's push that up. Mohammed, closed source. Mohammed, you're fired. Mohammed, twice as much open source from you needed this weekend. D-Raj is 100% confident. That's good. Me too. I'm feeling confident. So let's have a look. Let's go to here. Let me bring this tab a bit closer. Okay, it's run. Right. We ready. Refresh. Hopefully the code disappears and we see a list of 4 people, 1 column. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, 5. We added a 5th person. Yes, 5. It worked. Okay, awesome. So that's good. So what we need to do now is make 2 columns, and this is where it's going to get a little bit more codey. Less GitHub Actions, more codey. So I need your help. So now we've got this array, and but in each item in the array, we've got tr, so we create a new row for each one. But I only want to create a row if it needs to be a new row, because I want 2 columns or 3 columns. I think maybe do 2 for now. So if we say const columns equals 2, and the other great thing about this is we can even make that as a variable coming in, so the person who's using the plugin on the GitHub action, they can configure that. So we can move that later. We can actually put a to-do on that as well. I think that'd be really useful. The person can choose. So that'd be so cool. So imagine on the project, they would just go here when they're using the plugin, add a new variable and say columns 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever they want. So columns 2, to-do, move to not variable, move to what's it called? Input. That's the one. I'm loving GitHub Actions so much. Okay, right. So what we want to do is, how's the best way to do this? So we need to check if it's divisible by 2, and if it is, so we'll need a key. So we can do key or just k, or not dot. We can just go k, and then if it is a k, we want to wrap it. If it isn't a k, we don't want to wrap it. So maybe, how's the best way to do this? Let me think. Could do it as another map, but I don't know if that's a good idea or not. Let's think. Hey Alex, how you doing? Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. Hope everything in Bulgaria is going good. Let me think. Actually, it's not just about wrapping it, because the first one will need it. The second one, so let me just draw on my screen. I've got this new kind of tool. So if we draw a table with 2 columns, imagine if it's I'll draw a table with 2 columns. Right, table, you've got 2 columns. If it's this first one, don't disappear. I need to draw. Well, that didn't work very well, did it? I'm sure I can lock it. But if it's the first item, it needs a tr. And if it's the second kind of same row, but second column, it needs a closing tr, this one here. But if it's its own row, you're still with me, its own row, but there is no other extra item coming, then it needs the closing tr. Oh, this is actually a bit trickier than I thought. Maybe there's a JavaScript library to do it. D-Raj, I got to go. My friend needs some help exploring React. We're starting fresh today, and she's a bit underconfident of herself. How do I motivate her? Get her to join our live streams, D-Raj. That's how you get everyone motivated. But really good that you're helping out a fellow colleague or friend. I think that's really important. It's such a great way to learn. This is why I love doing these streams. You get to see other people's thought process and input and ideas. So yeah, highly recommend doing it. Glad you're doing it. Get them to join the streams, get them to join Discord. We will keep them motivated, right? Infinite days of code, not 100 days of code. Infinite days of code. Every day is a code day. If I can help with anything, do let me know as well. More than happy to help out. Okay, so we need to think about this. If it is, right, let's just try something and we'll see if it works or not. And we could actually do a little node script to test it rather than having to get the action to rebuild it every time. Awesome. Thanks, Dheeraj. All the best. So what I'm thinking is, let's make this bit verbose for now. So let's say if, so you can say if k, because it'll be 0, 1, 2, right? So we could say if k plus 1 is divisible by 2, then we know it's an even number, which would make it the second, it needs to be the second column. Oh, you'll keep the stream on, the volume turned down. Brilliant. Thank you, Dheeraj. Really appreciate the support. Thank you very much. That will definitely help my stats. So yeah, we're going to have it. If it's even, it means it's the second item. And then else, it will be the first item. Okay, that would work. But we also need to know if it's the last item as well. This is interesting, right? Let's build something up. Let's have a look. We could keep appending to a string, right? So we've got this returning to content. What we could actually do, could you do it? Could we do it with a join? If it's an array, Now again, you couldn't do it with a join because you wouldn't know where it is in the. If you do it with a reduce, if you loop a reduce, could you do it with a reduce? You keep adding to it. You could wrap it each time, but you wouldn't know where it was to add to it. Let me think. Could we do it with a reduce? That would be awesome. Let me just do a bit of kind of like pseudo code here. If we did a reduce, who remembers a reduce? Then it would be the array. It would be an array at the end because we could then concatenate it, join it, sorry, or concatenate it. But then we would want to know, I don't know. I don't think that would quite work as planned. Let's keep going. So if it's the first item, so if it's the second item, we want it to be, let me just write something in here now. We want it to be a TD, right? Just as a placeholder. I'm not going to fill it in for now. And then, oh, Alex, what's the problem trying to solve? Good question. So what we've got, let me show you what we've got because I know you've just joined. We've got the GitHub action is taking the JSON file from the project, this one here, you've got 5 entries, and it is generating the HTML table in a single column, just one after the other. So we have it so that each one has a TR to make the row, and then it has the single column, and then it closes that. But we want to maybe make it 2 columns or 3 columns. That should be, that's why we're talking to people so great. I just noticed another mistake. That should not be hard-coded 2. That should be the variable columns. And so if we're doing 2 columns for now, if it's the first item in the row, it needs a TR. If it is the second item in the row, it needs the closing TR. But if it is, the more I think about it and talk through it, the more I get more ideas. This is great. Why talking through stuff is so important. Such a really, good developer skill to have is to talk through stuff. That's why they call it rubber ducking, right? I can talk to my golden octocat. Let me move out the way so it focuses on the octocat. There we go. That's from being GitHub star. Got loads of other swag as well. I do have a swag unboxing video on my channel if you want to check it out. Big octo cat plushy, like teddy bear style thing. It's so cool. But even if there is only, if it's 2 columns, and even if we've got only 1 item, we still need to have that other cell. So actually, it's actually easier because it would just be an empty one. But the map won't know if it has one more empty one. Ooh, okay. It got easier, then it got harder. And there's another challenge. Hopefully that explains it, Alex. Let me know what you think. So if it's divisible, then it will need to have, if it's the second row, it should have this, I believe. And then if it's the first row, it should have, the TR should be at the front to open it. But, oh, we did delete that one. Right, so if it's the first one, it needs to have the opening TR. If it is not the first one, or only 2 will work, because 3, then you wouldn't even want that closing TR in the end. Wow. Does someone have a Google and see if there's a library that does this for us? Because there's no point me reinventing the wheel, right? If we can take that. Let's have a look. NPM, what can we search for? This is when your Google foo becomes strong. Or needs to be strong. Let's see. I think you can chunk an array and use a map. Oh, really? Can you give an example? Let me just have a look. ES6 chunk array. Let's have a look. See, I love learning stuff new. Just pick up the first one. Is this a good example or not? This is not a very good example. I just want something really, really simple. Where is the good examples? 4 ways to chunk an array. Let's have a look. I just want 1 way. So if you chunk that, oh, you're right, it does do that. Oh, that's quite awesome. I did not know that. Oh, should we just try that on the command line, see if that works? That looks epic. Oh, let me think. That is a really good idea. The first parameter would be the array to be chunked. The second parameter is the size. So it's done 2, and then it's chunked it. Oh, Mohammed, you have made my day. I was really upset after Stephen stood me up as well for our meeting. So that is awesome. Like that. Okay, that could work, right? Because then we've got nested arrays, so therefore we could loop over the whole array to create the table. And then on the inner one, we could do it, you're right, map it. So we wrap the TR, opening TR and closing TR. The only difficulty is if it's an odd number and the last item, oh, it's probably too small. Is that too small for everyone? There we go. If the last item is only got one entry, so that's something we would need to check. We'll need to check the last item. If it's only got one entry, we need to put a blank element in it. Okay, but I think this is much nicer than the way I was doing it. What was I thinking? Okay, perfect. Let's have a look. Let's put the chunking in, and then we'll come back to the map in a second. Right. Actually, I can put it on the same line. Dot. Oh, chunk is a function. Okay. I don't think it exists. You can't do it like that. No. Right. Okay. So chunk. Is it built in? It's a bit of a weird way to use it, right? Is it built in? Oh, they've written their own. What they're going to say at the end. Ah, they've written their own custom one. I did think it was a bit odd that it existed already. Is there not something built into JavaScript? And hopefully no one says Lodash. Don't want to include like a 10 meg file. It's not a built-in function. Ah, okay, it's not built in. But it still makes sense, I think. Okay, I bet there's something on npm, right? npm chunk. Chunk npm, let's have a look. Goonies, who's seen that? Okay, let's have a look. Require chunk. Okay, looks good. To chunk an array into n size elements. 1, 3. I think that looks good. I want to look at the repo. Quick look. Do our due diligence. Okay, it's not massively popular and it hasn't been updated in 6 years, but I guess it doesn't need to do very much. So that's fine. Let me just see if there's another one. Chunk. Let's have a look. Here's 6 years ago. That was the one we were looking at. Chunk min a month ago got updated. Extra iterable. I will just use that first one. Let's just pick that first one, right? It's an npm module. We can add it. We can remove it really, really easily. So let's have a look. So what we'll do is npm, oh, have I copied it? npm install chunk, save. Okay. And then next, we'll just include it like so. Yeah, Mohammed, it's not included. You got my hopes up so much. I was like, wow, I learned something new, like ES7 or something. 8 or 9 or 10, but yeah, no, it's still good to be aware of this because it's really good that I found this library now and I can just use that. So what we want to do is then do chunk. Yep, I think that's good. Why is it not finding it though? Okay. Oh, it is. It shows you the example for the code as well. Okay, cool. So chunk. So we'll chunk that and we'll need to do comma and we'll do it by columns. Yeah, do it by columns, but we're going to leave it as hard coded to 2 for the moment because there will be some extra things we need to do. So actually we don't need the key anymore. Right, so if we're going to chunk it, we're going to end up with something like this, which is good. And then we're going to if we're going to map on it, we'll need to map on it twice, right? Because it'll be 2 nested array. So let's have a look. Each time we do it, it's going to be, how's the best way to do it? So it's going to be a row. So the first map, actually we can do this. We go, the first map will be a row. And then the second map will be the user. Oh, have I got something wrong with that? Oh, here we go. Row. Okay, let's have a look. So what we will want to return is, so we need to remove the tr from that. Pretty sure we don't want it on there. So each user will get, and we can actually even remove the word return, I think. I think we could do something like that, brackets, just to make it a bit neater. There we go, like so. So and we could move that to a function as well to make it a lot easier to read, right? We could pass in the user object and this gets generated. So we can move that again later. Right, oh, why is that complaining? And then on the, one more bracket, there we go. Right, okay, so we've got the user coming back. Sorry, the item for that row coming back. And then what we need to do, Shubham, how are you doing? Awesome to have you here. So that will be the item, the cell coming back with the TDs around it, which is perfect. And then we need to wrap that. So either we need to save that, so we could say, or we could just do a return. I don't know if that's neat or tidy. I was going to say try and do it all in like one line, but that's actually not very neat. So if I save that to say, I don't know, item or cell, that will actually be a cell. And then in here, in the return, we want to return the cell, cells, right? Because it's a map, so it's going to be multiple cells. Haha, Eddie. We want to return the cells, but they should be wrapped in TRs. I think that should work. Let's have a look. Cells. So therefore, we get the TDs opening, the TDs closing, and then we have a TR. So if we have 2 rows, each with a nested array of 2, this will return 2 of these, and then it will return the row. Where it breaks is if there's only one item in the nested. So if I go back to the example, if you end up with this, we need to put a blank TD at the end. How do we know that? Oh, we know that. Easy, easy. Azing, better late than never. Oh, Alex, my battery's dying. Alex, put it on charge. We're getting to the good stuff. We're going to see it working soon. Azing, I'm doing well. How are you doing? And how is everyone else doing? I think everyone's doing good. It's the weekend, open source. It's like 36 degrees here in the UK. With all these lights, I'm like sweltering. I'm melting. And my drink is running out. I'm very warm. Don't forget to join. Oh yes, thank you, Mohammed. Okay, I mustn't forget that. You're absolutely right. We do have the join in here, but you're right. I have to do another join. Thank you, Mohammed. Shubham was busy. We're glad you're here. Better late than never. No worries. You get to see, the results. So that's awesome. Okay, everyone watching, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. It really helps support the channel, and subscribe if you haven't already. We're all about open source here, getting you into open source. And today we're doing a custom GitHub action with JavaScript. And we have a result working at the moment. Not this one, not this one, not this one, this one, where you can see, if I show you what it was originally really quickly, bear with me, everyone who's seen this already, it's 2 columns of awesome GitHub profile, custom GitHub profiles. But this was hard coded in the README. So I'm getting the GitHub action to take a JSON file and create the table in the README. And so that's really cool, but we've only got a single column at the moment. And I've just learned about chunking by Mohammed, and we're trying to do it so that it can create 2 columns or 3 columns, etc. So the issue I see, we have an uneven number in our data. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that could happen in real life. So what we need to do is, this needs to be a join. Mohammed is so right. I was going to forget. Let me put that on. So this needs to be a join on an empty string, and thanks, Mohammed. Can't believe I forgot the join again. But if it is only a single result, we will want to add an empty cell at the end. I could add one more user, and therefore we've got an even number, check it works, then we'll do the boundary conditions afterwards. Okay, I'm going to save that. So what we're chunking it. Then we're going to go over each row, and for each row, we're going to create each cell. And we've got the join there. And then we'll put tr, opening tr and closing tr around it to create the row. Creates content, and then we join it again. I think that should work. And so let me push that up. And unfortunately in GitHub Actions, we have to commit the node modules. So git commit feature, and we'll say columns, because we've done, that's what the columns we're doing. Multiple columns. Okay, and if we push that up, now we have the plugin is going to be updated, but it won't kick off the GitHub action yet because we need to update our repo that's using the GitHub action. And later on, like I said, we will add it so we can customize in our repo how many columns it needs. But let's just add one more user to make it an even number to make sure it doesn't break, and also to kick off the GitHub action to run again. So let's just pick another person. And the next person in the list, who do we have? Vedant. Let's see the next person. Vedant's there. Riha. Okay, let's put Riha in. And then we'll kick this off and we'll see what happens with the GitHub action. Who's feeling confident it's going to work? What do you think? Scale of 1 to 10. What do you think? Is it going to work? 10 being it's going to work. 1 being it's not going to work. I'm pretty confident, right? Mohammed reminded me about the join. So I'm thinking, maybe like a 7. What do you think? And the issue number for that one was 17. So I save that. We do a diff. Alex says electricity's down. Oh no, that sucks. Jivesh, awesome to have you here. Good to see you back. Welcome from Ukraine. Your name is in Cyrillic, so I can't read it out. Write what your name is so I can give you a shout out. Alex, I remember. I know it's written in Cyrillic, but I also remember it. And Mohammed 1010, love it. Alex 11, awesome. Anurag, awesome to have you here. How's it going? So I've done div, happy with that. Right, let me just, I got in the commit, I got add another user, I had that in my history. Right, and let's just push that up to the B branch this time. Okay. Alex says same thing. Oh, is it another Alex? Let me see. Oh, yes, you're right. If I'm looking at the Cyrillic, it looks kind of the same, a bit different. You got an extra letter on yours. Oh, yes, I need to do a pull first because don't forget that every time we do a push, the GitHub action runs and rewrites the README. So do a pull, do a merge, and let's push it back up. Let's have a look. Okay. So if we go to the GitHub Actions page, you see another one running. There we go. And when it finishes, fingers crossed, we should see a table with 2 columns of users. And we've kept the numbers even, so there won't be any gaps if it works. And then we'll have to do some boundary conditions because there could be odd numbers. It passed. That's a good sign. Right. Who's ready? Shall I refresh this page? It's in my branch on the repo. We should see 2 columns rather than 1. Are you ready? Let's go. Yes! Yes! 2 columns. It worked. I love chunking. Mohammed, awesome. Made my day again. That's good. Okay, we have 2 columns. But if we add a 7th person, or if we change it to 3 columns, well, 3 columns would still work because it would be 3 and 3. But if we get an odd number of people, we need to make sure it doesn't bust. I'm sure this code can be seriously tidied up. So let's have a look. Odd number. So if we've got an odd number, there will only be 1 cell, and we need to put in a blank cell. So how can we do that? Before we join, we could check, because then it's still in an array, right? So we could go something like this. What do you think of this? If cells length is equal to 1, then we want to add, oh, that's not a good bracket. It's bracket going the wrong way. We want to say we want to push something onto cells. So we would say cells push, just like an MTTD. I think that would work. And then after that, we can then join cells on the return. What do you think? Will this work? What do you think, everyone? That's my thinking. So if there's only one cell, oh no, not one. If there's less than the number of columns, right? Because this could be 3. This could be 3. Yes, okay. Yeah, so if it's equal, or no, less than equal to, was it the wrong way around? I forget which way around it goes. Too many languages. Doesn't like that. It must be the other way. I forget. Yeah, so if it's less, no, not equal to, if it's less than columns, so if you've got 3 columns and we've got 1 or 2 cells, then we want to add that on. But we want to add multiples on, right? Because it could be 2 empty cells. If there will be 3 columns, you need to have a second TD. Yep, absolutely right. Just realized that. Thank you. Repeat columns minus row length. Ah, okay. Nice. I haven't used repeat before. This is awesome. I'm learning so much. I hope you're all learning something too. And if you're not learning something, then it's just hopefully entertaining, laughing at me, trying something new. But I'm learning lots. So that's interesting. Let me check out repeat. What is repeat? Repeat? Does repeat exist? Have you kind of made up another function that doesn't exist? I don't know. Oh, repeat does exist. Okay. Let's have a look. Repeat 27. Chorus repeat 27. Okay, happy because I'm happy. Right, okay, so it just repeats it. Okay, that makes sense. So what we want to do, cells not rows. Am I getting it wrong? Was it you who made the mistake? Repeats exists on a string. Oh, okay, got you. Okay, awesome. Right, so this string, so when we push it on, we could do, okay, this is what I see what you mean. So you could do repeat, and the number would be columns minus cell. Yeah, that would make sense. Columns minus cells dot length. Yeah, that would make sense. So it's going to repeat this string for, so if columns is 3 and we've got 3 cells, then that's fine because it's going to be not going to be less than that. That's okay. If we have 2 cells already populated, then we're going to say we need to add 1 more of these on. So it's going to be 3 minus 2, which leaves 1, which would work. And if we've only got 1 bit of data in the cell, then it would be, columns would be 3 minus 1, which would mean 2. I think that's going to work. I'm feeling confident. 1% left. No, Alex, you can't. You're helping me. Everyone's helping me. You can't go. Where's your USB charger, battery pack, portable that you take on the plane or on the train or whatever? Plug that in. Turn down the brightness. Close all the apps that you don't need. Okay, so I think that should work, right? I'm feeling confident. Was everyone feeling confident? 1 to 10. Let's see if we can get this working quickly before Alex's battery dies. Let's have a look. I think that's going to work. So if we have a look at the diff, we have done that. I'm happy with that. I think that looks good. Thank you all for your help. 100%, Alex. Love that. Okay, so Git Commit. Let's have a look. Feature. And we did the HTML. Boundary. Condition. For rows, for cells. Okay. 6, Mohammed, just a 6. Come on, you helped write this. So let's push that up. And then we're going to add a new user to the data, which will be an odd number, and then we'll see. So we've got 6 people here. Let's add a 7th, so it will be an odd number, and we can check it works. Oh, that, yes, so let's check it works. Let's add a new user. Turn the brightness down, Alex. Hang around for a little bit longer. We added Rena previously. We'll add Stephen next. Okay, Stephen is sponsoring me on GitHub. So Stephen, you're still around. I really appreciate the sponsorship on GitHub. I do have a video on GitHub sponsorship, how to make money from open source, coming out early next week. So everyone do stay tuned for that. See how you can make money on open source as well. And then what number? 20. Okay, save. Okay, we do a pull first because GitHub Actions would have written already to that. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, got my password wrong. Does that mean I spelled my name wrong? Second time lucky. Right, pulled that, and this time let's do a push. Let's do a commit first. I don't think we committed it yet, did we? No, we didn't. Okay, so we've got a commit in our history for adding an extra user. Alex, you still with us? Add another user. Git push. No, not that. Not readme. Origin. Eddie. B. Right, okay. Got my password wrong again. The pressure before Alex's battery dies. See if this works. Okay, so we've pushed that up. GitHub Action will be running. You can see it running. It takes like 17 seconds, 15 seconds to run. So it's really quite quick. And then we'll see if this README has a 7th person and isn't busted. It's finished. Let's go refresh it. There should be a 7th person appear with it not busted. Stephen appeared and it looks like that worked. Let's double check and look at the source code. And how bad are we generating this? It's not too bad. There should be an empty TD. There is an empty TD at the end. Oh my God, that actually worked. That is so cool. Don't you think that's awesome? So if we put 3, let's put 3 and see. So actually what we could do, let's make it even more exciting. Alex, it worked. You're 1%. If it goes, it goes. But hopefully you can stick around a bit longer. But I want to show you even more awesome if we pass through, say, columns. So we can pass it through from the parent project that's using it. So columns, if I say 3 now, and then we go to, oh, electricity's back up. Phew. Okay. And then what I want to do is in the rules, add this one. We'll change it to columns. So the rules of the GitHub plugin. Let's get rid of that. Don't need that text. And then description. How many columns? Okay, can't spell columns. Columns. Is that right? I don't know. I'll change it later if it's not. And then it's required. No, it's not. So it's false. It's not required. And the default we could have as being 2, I think. I want it to be quoted. Okay, 2. Right, so then in here, we don't need this hard-coded columns anymore. What we do need is another one of this. Copy and paste that over there. So we've got columns, and then we'll change that to columns. So it actually now come through from, as a default, 2, or if we're using it and we specified it, we can say 3. So let's see how that looks. Okay, I think we're good. I think that should still work. Let's test it out. It's an odd number, so we should have 2 empty cells in the last row, I think. Let's have a look. Although, what we'll do, I'll add another piece of data to the... Yeah, I'm not happy with those changes. Git Commit. Oh, I'm excited about this now. This is where we're making the GitHub Action even more flexible so other people can use it. Feature, columns, amount, value via input. Column, value via input. Not covered by my head, no. Okay. Git push to master. Let's have a look. Right, okay, that's pushed up. Let's go back to the data. Let's add another person. So that should only be 1 gap now. But let's have a look. So the next person, we have to add all these people anyway eventually. So let's add another person. There we go. I need their username. I need their image for their screenshot of their customized GitHub profile. Have you all customized yours? If anyone hasn't customized theirs, write not customized. Customized is quite a big word to write. Just write not in the chat. And if you have customized it, write open source in the chat because it counts towards your open source contributions. Right, let me add a user add another user. Oh, I should have pulled it down first because now it's going to create a merge. But that's fine. And then we'll push it up. Okay, so we're expecting 3 columns because in the plugin we haven't specified a number anywhere. We default to 2, but we haven't hard-coded a number. If you see columns, it's getting it via the input. And if it works correctly, on our project, Awesome GitHub Profiles, we have got 3. So let's have a look. Has it finished? Probably finished running by now already. It's so quick. Just finished 19 seconds ago. Let's refresh this. We're expecting 3 columns and 1 empty at the end, I think. 3 columns, woo! And 1 empty at the end. That's so awesome, right? So now if I ever want to change the formatting from 2 columns to 3 columns, back to 2 columns, I don't need to update the HTML anymore. I can then just go to our project, or you or someone else can go and just change this number. And by changing that number and committing and pushing it, it is then going to rewrite that part of the README. Oh my God, I've literally I love GitHub Actions already, but I'm loving it even more now. Imagine like what we can do with that. What can we do with that? Let me know your ideas in the chat. If you've got a GitHub action that could read data out of your repo in any branch and update any file in any branch or do something else, let me know what ideas you have. Awesome. Okay. I'm really happy that worked. That looks epic. We need to get this pull request made. And if you want to get some GitHub green squares today, go to this repo. I will share it with you and raise an issue with your ideas that you have of what we can do with that. And even if your issue of your idea gets closed, you still get the green square for today. So you really want an active profile. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Right. That is so cool. 3 columns. Is 3 columns look good? Should we have 4? I think 3 columns is good. I bet it ends up being too small. But you can click on it and then you get the full picture, I suppose. The voting is looking a bit odd. Oh, really? Did I mess something up? Oh, not that one. This one. Vote looks all right. I think it looks okay. You click on it, it goes to the issue, and then you can give it a thumbs up, a thumbs up. And then the idea is in the future, I can read from the API on the custom GitHub action. I can read from the API the number, and then I want to sort. I want to sort these in most popular. How epic would that be, right? I'm sure GitHub API reactions. You can get the information from there. Automate adding items to the JSON file. How would you do that? As in, how would people add it? They could raise an issue with a label or something, which automatically gets them added. But then I wouldn't have the screenshot. I know you've suggested something, taking a screenshot. I mean, you can take screenshots. There is a JavaScript library that does that. Screenshot. Because you could do a get on the URL. I wonder if npm URL screenshot. URL to screenshot. We can actually do this. That could be so cool. Oh, you can. Screenshot. Whoa. Okay. Wow, this could be a game changer. Because then if someone updates their profile, they could maybe do something like a comment or something on the issue to say it's been updated, and then automatically go gets a new screenshot from it. Such a good idea. What does everyone think? What does everybody think? I think it's a good idea. Ooh. So maybe in the JavaScript file, yeah, we could sort it alphabetically quite easily. I was trying to sort it on votes. At the moment, it's sorting on, I guess it is not sorting, it's just doing it in the order it comes out the JSON file. Because then we could remove the image URL. We skip a step then. We could then raise an issue with the screenshot so people can still vote. I think that's for another stream. I don't think that's for today. I think that's quite a good idea though. Can someone raise that issue that, or has Mohammed raised it already? Let's have a look. I can add a comment with this to it as well. That's pretty good. Yeah, so reactions. How can you get reactions out of their API? Oh, you can. List of team discussion. No, not for team discussion. For an issue. Wonder if we can do that. GitHub issue reaction. Yeah, I'm sure we can do that. Let's have a look at issues here and see. Automate screenshots. Right, screenshots. Mohammed has raised it already. Oh, Puppeteer. I'm not aware of Puppeteer. Okay. So that could be an option. Launch, await, go to, screenshot. I'll just put another idea. Alternative for screenshots. Just log it here so I don't lose it. We could do that. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Yeah. Wow, that's quite interesting because then someone would raise an issue, right? We know we can trigger the event on the GitHub action. We know that they've raised it. We would probably want a label on it, right? They'd need to put in a label, which we haven't got. We'll have to create new labels. If it's got a certain label, then the action runs. The action would, so if we go back to the action here, the action would grab the screenshot first. So before where we've got the JSON file, we could add the user, I suppose, to the JSON file. We could read the JSON file, add the user, read the JSON files up here. Read the JSON file, add the user to it, and then write it into the HTML. Yeah. Because I think not just reading the issues and APIs every time isn't a good idea. So yeah, the JSON's definitely good. Creating an issue might be more work. Maybe but the good thing about the user raising an issue is that we get the issue number. Whereas if they just did it, so they added their username, for example, from GitHub, because we can get their name from GitHub, username, then they would, yeah, they'd have to do a pull request, do that. Raising an issue makes it easier because then we could get an issue number. We would get their screen, we would create their screenshot, and we can get their name from the API as well. Oh, that's quite interesting. Definitely for another stream, but definitely food for thought as well. The amazing thing about these live streams is learning new things. Yeah, everyone learning new things. I'm learning things all the time, and hopefully this is shedding some light to people watching on what GitHub Actions can do. Just there's a whole marketplace for GitHub Actions. I haven't published mine yet, so if I go to the repo, I think I did see it saying, do you want to publish it? Where is it? I lost the repo. And I've put it under my name at the moment, but I actually want to move it to our community organization. So anyone who's here and who wants to join our community organization, if you have a quiet GitHub profile, join all these other people, and I can add you to our organization. You're more than welcome to join. So if I say, I did it here and I said GitHub Actions, but I should move this one. But here they did say, yeah, he published this to the marketplace. So I haven't published it yet. And if you look at the marketplace, there are just loads of stuff, GitHub Actions. And if we go to, there's just so many on the marketplace. If you look, there's chat, API management, code quality, code review. There's just deployments, IDEs. There's so many things. Publishing is just, this is a game changer For people who want to get into CI and CD, GitHub Actions is a game changer already. Imagine where it's going to be in 6 months, a year. Most projects, I believe, will move towards this because it's so customizable and there's so many plugins you can use. So definitely start playing with this. Even if you've only got a simple project, add a GitHub Actions to it. It's free and it will allow you to maybe build the code and run a linter. That's it. It doesn't need to deploy it anywhere. Don't worry about that. You can add that later. But if it kind of, compiles the code or runs the code or runs a linter, then at least that way you're just getting that bit of feedback, right? Every time you do a commit and a push, you're getting some value added straight away. And there's so many other things you can do. You can use coveralls up here, coveralls for code coverage and all sorts of things. Really important. Alex says they use GitHub Actions every day and it's awesome. Yeah, I wish I used it more. I wish I used it sooner. I want to start using it more and more. It's really, really awesome. The customization is freaking writing custom actions in JavaScript. I need to do a video on this, I think. Like a really cut down 5-minute video on how to build your own custom action. I think it's just freaking awesome. It really, really is. I'm so happy about that. That actually works. It's in a branch at the moment. So in master, it's still 2 columns and hard-coded HTML. But I'm thinking, we'll get this branch merged in where it's a JSON file at the moment. Yes, we should move to being more automated like Mohammed suggested. And then we've got 2 or 3 columns. I can just change that with changing a config. I just think that's just awesome. Let's get that raised. If people want to review this pull request for me, let me raise this pull request. Can someone review it and let me know? It can't merge automatically. Oh, my branch is out of date. Why is my branch out of date? That's fine. Let's just raise the pull request. I can sort that out later on. And we should say that we haven't really updated the full JavaScript JSON file yet. If anyone wants to get any open source pull requests or raise an open source pull request, then you can take out of the current README and add into my branch or your own branch the new items. You just keep adding a new person for each one if you want that. Automate HTML table generation from JSON file. That's just so cool. And I'm going to take a screenshot. It's always good to take a screenshot. Have I closed it now? I have closed it. Let me open another one. And we can see how much contributions I've done to open source today, and we can compare it against yours. I'm really keen for all of you to do more open source contributions. Okay, so taking a screenshot, and let me just drop that in here. Let's have a look. Here we go, drag and drop that in there. When it finishes uploading, come on, upload. There we go, preview. There we go, create pull request. Awesome. I'm happy with that, and we can also see files changed. And we can see what's changed. So we added in the GitHub action, and to use the plugin that I created, or we have created together, apologies. I've got the GitHub action workflow badge in the README, and then this is what gets written by the plugin. And then what else have we got in the JSON file? And that's it. That's all it is. Hopefully that was useful to everyone. Hopefully you had fun. Any suggestions for live streams or videos, do let me know. Raise an issue. We do have a support repo actually here where you can raise questions and ideas. We do have a support repo. I will share that in the link. And don't forget, if you want to join our community on GitHub, you can raise an issue on here. And when you raise an issue, we're still working and improving on the templates. You can say review my open source link or project or GitHub profile, or if you've got a question. We actually need one to add you to the organization. You can just open a blank issue for now. Is that behind my head? Let me bring it up. Open a blank issue for now, and I'll add the label, and I can get you added to our organization so you can get involved. Don't forget, there's a link in our description below this video to join the Discord server where we can continue the conversation between live streams and videos. Sentil, awesome to have you here. We are just finishing. We have just got a custom GitHub action written in JavaScript working, and everyone helped, and I'm just so grateful for everyone helping. So thank you all so much for being here. I really had fun. I learned a lot. I look forward to our next live stream. Maybe I was going to go to a hackathon this weekend, but now I'm not doing it. Maybe I can squeeze in a live stream tomorrow, kind of late morning UK time. So that would be if I bring, I'll put it in Discord. So do join in Discord, and then you can see. I think for people in India, I think it's like 4.5 hours ahead. So if I did it like 11 or 12 UK time, it's going to be 3-4 your time over there. I think it'll be very early in the States for people maybe to join that. It's too early. I'll see if I can push it back later. It's a similar sort of time to today. Thank you everyone for joining. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and share with your friends. I appreciate that. And anything you've learned, if you want to share it on socials, feel free to tag me, and then I will retweet it and reshare it and get your account some exposure as well. I really believe in a two-way street. So yeah, just send me a tag and something you've learned or a tip that you've learned, and I will reshare and retweet that for you. Have a great day wherever you are in the world, and have an awesome weekend, and we will geek out soon. Thanks again, everyone. Bye.